We have now reached the seventh day of our Novena in honor of the Sacred Heart as we prepare for World Priest Day on the Feast of the Sacred Heart. Thank you for being with us over these days, and if you're just joining us, you're very welcome to be with us. We turn today to St. Claude La Colombière is our patron. He was the man who helped St. Margaret Mary, who do those extraordinary visions of the Sacred Heart that we've seen in the stained glass windows of our churches and the statuary. He was the one who assured her that she really was in contact with the second person of the Blessed Trinity. He died in 1682, 8 years before Margaret Mary. But over those 8 years, Margaret Mary said that St. Claude, he wasn't saint then, he was only canonized in the 31st of May, 1992 by Pope John Paul II. She said of him, he is all-powerful in what has to do with devotion to the Sacred Heart. Devotion to the Sacred Heart, by the way, was preached for the first time publicly in the Palace of St. James in London, in the heart of a city that was ferociously anti-Catholic. In fact, the reason why Claude La Colombière was able to be there was he was chaplain to the Duchess of York, subsequently Queen of England, who was a Catholic and had to have a Catholic chaplain. While he was there, he referred to this devotion that he'd first heard about in Paris-le-Monial some months earlier in France. He didn't mention the name of Margaret Mary, he just referred to this chosen soul. He himself was eventually banished from Britain. The reason why he wasn't put to death with the other Jesuit martyrs was diplomatic immunity. He was representing the Kingdom of France, so he came home, but while in prison in London he contracted tuberculosis, of which he died. He became helpless, this extraordinary, able young man in his early 40s. And the Lord said to Margaret Mary on one occasion about him, "When he was young and in the fullness of his health, he glorified me by what he said and did. Now that he can do nothing, I glorify myself through him." So remember our brothers and sisters today who, unlike the rest of us, cannot get up and walk around, who find themselves housebound, who find themselves incapable of walking and moving around. And we want to let them know that they have an extraordinary contribution to the salvation of the world. As St. Bernadette of Lourdes once said when she was in bed all day, she said, when someone suggested this wasn't the best way to go about things, she said, without the weights, the clock won't go. So the heavy weights in our lives and the lives of others somehow or other have a contribution to make to the ultimate salvation of all of us.